He can't hold his rallies anymore, and his convention plans are in tatters. Even the once reliable Fox News is now often critical. And he had to abandon his daily White House COVID press conferences when his sometimes bizarre remarks saw his approval ratings plummet.
Supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light.
Which left this, social media, as the president's last remaining means of getting his message unmediated into American homes. If the Twitter president can't tweet what he wants, if his campaign can't post freely on Facebook, well, it could put a huge dent in his chances. Last night, both Twitter and Facebook took action against a posting from the Trump campaign that contained this excerpt from a Trump interview.
If you look at children, children are almost, and I would almost say definitely, but almost immune from this disease.
And now one of the more well-known Washington National fans.
This directly contradicts official medical advice from America's top immunologist.
Do children get infected? Yes, they do.
Have hundreds of thousands of children been infected?
Yes.
Twitter put a hold on the Trump campaign's account, saying they could not tweet again until they removed the video. The man who introduced Donald Trump to Twitter 11 years ago is not surprised that the campaign very quickly complied.
They're not going to want to lose that communication, which has been very effective for them, obviously. So I think they'll figure it out. They'll figure out a way to comply and work around it. It's just become too powerful of a tool for him personally and for his campaign, and a way for him to really communicate directly to his base.
This is the first time Facebook has taken such action against the president. In a statement they said, "This video includes false claims that a group of people is immune from COVID-19, which is a violation of our policies around harmful COVID misinformation." The Trump campaign has accused the social media companies of becoming political activists.
Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of Facebook, has talked about this. He doesn't want to be the arbiter of truth. He doesn't think social media companies should be playing that role. But like it or not, they are playing that role. They have this enormous amount of power in terms of what the rules of the road are, what they allow politicians to say, what people get to hear. And it puts them in a really difficult place.
Thank you very much. We're here today to defend free speech from one of the gravest dangers it has faced in American history, frankly.
The president has previously promised to hit back at the social media companies, even signing an executive order. The truth is, he lacks the power to do much on his own before the election.
Now I'm joined by Jeff Flake, who was the Republican senator for Arizona until 2019 and was one of the few vocal critics of the president within the Republican Party. Good evening.
Thanks for having me on.
What do you make of the decision by Facebook and Twitter?
Well, I'm frankly pretty sympathetic to Mark Zuckerberg's statement months ago that he didn't want Facebook to be the arbiter of truth. Once you go down that road, it's really difficult to get back. So I'm not exactly sure how they'll go forward with this. But when there are issues of public safety, as with the coronavirus, and statements by the president might induce people to do things that simply aren't good, I can see why they feel they have to go that direction. But it's going to be a tough policy to maintain or to get right, frankly.
It just seems also quite odd because the clip was from a news outlet. It was from Fox News. Right. And in a sense, that's gone out on television already. And if the challenge was going to be made, it should have been made by one of the journalists there. But now it's being effectively edited by Facebook. I mean, who is really keeping Donald Trump held to account as far as you're concerned?
Well, frankly, if the Trump campaign believes that Facebook is doing them harm by not promoting this, I think they're wrong, frankly. Facebook is probably doing the Trump campaign a favor by keeping this off the air. It does excite his base, but it moves independents and moderates further away from him. So in terms of what it does electorally, I'm not sure that that really it hurts the president that much. I just don't know, how do you maintain this once we have a new president? I mean, how do you go on and become the arbiter of truth as a social media platform. It's just too difficult to do.
At a time where you talk about an election coming up and also public safety, I wonder, how embarrassed are you that Republicans, including in your own home state, are politicising COVID-19, for instance, encouraging people to break lockdown rules?
Well, it's not good for the Republican Party. It's not good for the population, the voters, citizens, or anything. But just in terms of what it's doing to the party, it's killing us as Republicans. We just our brand is tarnished, and we're in a demographic cul-de-sac now, and we're pushing away certainly millennials, Gen X, those who are coming up, becoming voters. They've been walking away from the party for a while. It looks like now they're in a dead sprint. So it is painful to watch, really, to see my party go down this direction and just follow the president wherever he goes.
But and then in that sense, do you still think this is his election? He's going to win this, or do you think against the backdrop of COVID-19, he's lost it? I mean, the polls are narrowing again in Trump's favour.
No, I thought it would be a very difficult election for him to win prior to COVID, prior to the economy going down. I think now it's looking that much more uphill for the president. I think the real question now is, do Republicans maintain control of the Senate? If the election were held today, Republicans would not. So we'll see what happens between now and the election, but I don't think the fortunes of the president are going to change that much. I think this is slipping away pretty fast. Although
we know not to necessarily trust polls, and anything can sort of happen in America. People now looking at this, of course, against the backdrop of COVID-19. It's safe to say you and the president aren't on the best of terms. He said that he retired you and he was very proud of it, and he did the country a great service. Are you voting for Biden?
I haven't indicated that I will vote for Biden. I've simply indicated that I will not vote for President Trump. You can draw whatever conclusion. I may have statements or announcements to come.
No, but I suppose
but I will not vote for the president.
You won't vote for the president. Will you vote?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I voted last time. I didn't vote for President Trump. There are always third-party candidates or write-ins that people can do. That's always an option. I won't vote for the president, but I've said before I could vote for a Democrat like Joe Biden, one who is more centrist and more moderate, and I think that you're going to have a lot of Republicans, a lot of independents moving and voting for President Biden. Vice President Biden.
So that could be a trend. I mean, why not say it publicly now here on the BBC that you will vote for Biden? It's an important moment.
There are timing to these things, and we'll see. Stay tuned coming up.
Well, I mean, it seems that President Trump still wants a delay. He's still going on about the fact that perhaps this should be delayed, this election. What do you make of that? What is your reading?
You know, I spent part of my life in Southern Africa, in Zimbabwe, and I felt like I was back there when I was hearing those kind of statements. That gratefully, high-ranking Republicans as well as Democrats came out and said, no, that's not going to happen. That's not for the president to choose. And gratefully, he's pretty much alone in that.
Are you really comparing President Trump to Mugabe there?
No, I'm just saying it sounded very much like some of the rhetoric you hear in other places that we don't want to emulate.
And so you really think Joe Biden's going to do this, and it will be because of what? If you make this call now, so far in advance, the election isn't being delayed, what will it be? Will it be that Trump loses it or Biden wins it, if you see what I mean?
Oh, certainly. Trump loses it. It was a very tenuous coalition he put together last time. He didn't win the popular vote. It was simply the Electoral College. I felt all along that would be a difficult thing to replicate. But he's done nothing really to give those voters who gave him a chance the first time another chance.
Do you think he's changed the Republican Party forever?
Yes, very much so. And it wasn't just him. There were things that were happening before he came along that he took advantage of, but he has very much changed the party. I worry about where we are and where we're going, definitely.
Jeff Flake, thank you very much for your time this evening.
You bet.